Could the week we've all been waiting for finally be here? And yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Before we dive into that, my question to you is this, because look, with the Giants sitting at 2-7, it's easy to check out of this season. And I know only diehard Giants fans are still watching this program. So my question is this: when did you become a Giants fan? Let me know what year down in the comment section. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by as I share my thoughts on Daniel Jones in this Sunday against the Panthers over in Germany, being his last chance to keep his job as the starting quarterback of this great organization. I truly do believe that this is going to be his final shot if he does not make the most of this opportunity. If the New York Giants cannot get their offense going, I'll take it a step further. If the New York Giants lose to the Carolina Panthers this Sunday, Daniel Jones will be benched. And you'll go into the bye week with Drew Lock being named as the starter. You'll come out of that bye week and you'll play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it will be Drew Lock under center. Because if you lose to the Panthers, somebody is going to lose their job. And I don't think it'll be Brian Daboll, and I don't think it'll be Mike Kafka. If you can't score points against the worst defense in the NFL, Brian Daboll will have no choice other than to remove Daniel Jones from the starting lineup and move on from him. The only two wins the Panthers have this year come against the Las Vegas Raiders, and they come against the New Orleans Saints. And I know that it was a couple weeks after that the Las Vegas Raiders lost to the Carolina Panthers, but once they did, their season really fell off the train tracks, and moves were made. They fired Luke Getsy. And then the day after the Carolina Panthers beat the New Orleans Saints, they fired Dennis Allen. If you lose this Panthers team, something is going to happen. Their defense is a joke. They are the worst in the National Football League by far. When it comes to points allowed per game, they allow 32.6, the worst in the NFL. When it comes to overall yardage per game, they allow the most in the NFL at 392 yards per game. When it comes to their pass defense, they allow 232.6 yards, 25th most in the NFL. When it comes to yards per attempt, they allow 8 yards per attempt, 28th in the NFL. Completion percentage allowed, 70%. 28th in the NFL. They've allowed 18 passing TDs, 29th in the league. They have just 3 interceptions, 27th in the league. Their quarterback rating allowed is 111.2, 31st in the NFL. They have just 10 sacks so far this year, 31st in the NFL. And when it comes to points per drive allowed, they allow 2.86 yards or points per drive. The worst in the National Football League. There is nothing that this Carolina Panthers defense does well. And if you can't score versus them, oh my goodness, there's going to be problems. They have one solid player on defense, and that is J.C. Horn. Outside of that, they are no good. Their starting safety, Damani Richardson, is a UDFA rookie. Xavier Woods is ranked as the 47th best safety in the NFL. Mike Jackson is ranked as the 43rd best corner. And Shaw Smith-Wade, their slot corner, has a 36.5 PFF grade, and he is a rookie 5th rounder. I think I've said this saying maybe 20 times before, but I think that this might be the final time I have to say it. It is quite literally now or never for Daniel Jones in his opportunity to continue to win and earn this job. Because if you can't do it this week, my man, you will never be able to do it. Look, I don't want to spend too much time on the things or the lack of things that Daniel Jones has or has not done this year. I know there's some people out there that still think he's the answer to all the problems. I know there's people out there that still won't want to say it's his fault. And look, is it all his fault? No, but at the end of the day, when you touch the ball every single time, and every year under center, you continuously have one of the worst offenses in the NFL. you got to at least be able to shoulder some blame. Big time throws this year, just 7, 23rd. Big time throw percentage, 33rd. There's only 32 teams in the NFL. Average depth of target, 20th. Pressure to sack percentage. That's what upsets me. When he gets pressured, 21% of the time it turns into a sack, 15th most in the NFL. And then when he tries to operate an explosive offense, when he tries to take the top off, when he tries to take chances, he's a terrible quarterback. His completion percentage on throws to 20-plus yards, it's the 35th best. Again, only 32 teams in the NFL. But Marshall, yep, 33.3% completion percentage, 33rd in the NFL. Again, only 32 teams in this league. His PFF overall grade on throws of 20-plus yards, 29th, and he has 3 turnover-worthy plays, the 6th most in the NFL. I mean, we don't have to rehash that. But I do believe if you lose this week, you will no longer be this team's quarterback. So my question to you is this. The Panthers, on average, give up 32.6 points per game. So let's play a game of over-under. 32.5 points this Sunday for the Giants. Over, under, type O for over, type U for under. I want to hear from you in the comments section. I also think this is the week where we could find out answers on a player on the Giants who was selected in an early round and is going to be a starter this week. He hasn't had a good week. You might know who I'm talking about. We'll explain more around the corner. But first, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. Look, if you're trying to go to a Giants game this year, you might want to try to save some money, and you can do so. You can save $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply if you use that promo code ChatSports. Game Time is the app where you get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Prices for the events actually drop as the events get closer. They are the king of apps when it comes to last-minute tickets. The app will let you know when flash deals are going on. You get views from the seats inside the app. And, oh, yeah, lowest price guarantee. It's the only ticketing app I use when I'm trying to go to a sporting event, when I try to go to a concert, or I go to a comedy club. These two features, all-in pricing and Game Time picks, are going to make sure that you get the best deal and the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. So download the app, create an account, use that promo code ChatSports, that's CHATSPORTS, just like you see it at the bottom of the screen. You'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. What time is it? It is game time. Support the show. Support the sponsor. All righty. It's now or never for Daniel Jones. And I'm not going to say it is now or never for Jalin Hyatt, but he has an opportunity this week to show everybody that there is still a football player there that can be productive for this organization. He is going to be starting for the first time this year due to Darius Slayton not even making the trip to Munich, Germany to take on the Panthers. He is out. He is still in concussion protocol, and he will not play. And we've seen before a starting receiver be down for the New York Giants, and Jalin Hyatt has seen an increase in snap count, right? Remember, Malik Neighbors had to miss 2 games because of concussion, and we saw Jalin Hyatt's snaps increase a large bit. But this time it feels a little bit different because with Malik Neighbors out, there are other receivers like Wan'Dale Robinson, and Slayton just kind of fell into the role of Malik Neighbors, whereas there's no one on this roster that can really do what Darius Slayton does outside of Jalin Hyatt. So this feels different with Slayton out compared to with Neighbors out because you just moved Slayton around when Neighbors was out, and he played everywhere. Whereas Neighbors is going to play, there's only certain things left for a wide receiver that's needed, and that's to take the top off and run vertical routes. And outside of Slayton, you'd hope and then Jalin Hyatt can be that guy. And against a terrible defense, 32s across the board, maybe it is 13's week. Look, at this point at 2-7, your season when it comes to making the playoffs is over. So let's at least identify if any of these players that have been selected in recent drafts can be players going forward. You are playing for the future at this point. And I know that Jalin Hyatt has had a terrible year in 2024. The opportunities have been thin, and the results have been even thinner. But when you go back and watch that tape from his rookie year, there are things that pop off the page. He had a big-time game against the Arizona Cardinals. He had a solid game against the New England Patriots. He had multiple games with big-time catches, 6 catches of more than 20-plus yards. That'd be number 2 on this football team this year. He averaged 16.2 yards per catch, and he had an average depth of target of nearly 21 yards. Like, it is time for Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, and the New York Giants to figure out if Jalin Hyatt is a part of this team going forward, or if you need to go out in the future in free agency or the draft and select more receiver depth because you don't have any provided by Jalin Hyatt. Like, the Giants are already thin at receiver talent. You got Neighbors, Slayton's out. Robinson can only really play in the slot. He's a 5'8" slot merchant that can't push the ball down the field. And then you got Bryce Ford-Wheaton, who's also out. So you got Amir Smith-Marset and Hyatt. You got Neighbors, Robinson, Hyatt, and Amir Smith-Marset, and potentially Isaiah Hodgins, who's going to be called off the practice squad. So I do think there is an opportunity and there is a way that this game could unfold where Jalin Hyatt gets a good amount of snaps. And just a couple times, just chuck it deep. F it. Jalin Hyatt down there. It doesn't matter if you beat the Panthers. Let's start worrying about the process over the results, because the results are already written in ink, and it's at this season, and their playoff chances are over. Show Jalin Hyatt some love. Type those 13s, and make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue.